And then does that make you bad because I say I'm anti-gang? No, of course not.
You're not anti-gang.
I'm not anti-gang. I just don't want to see it.
I just don't want to see that either. I don't want to see the film. You know what I mean? If I don't like musicals and it turned into a film, I wouldn't want to go and see a film that was a musical. I'd rather see like a film that had a bit of action in it.
People are
penalised. I'm not anti-musical film.
I think people are penalised for having preferences.
Right, guys. Sorry to stop you there. Right, sponsored by Loves Ones Forever. Yeah. Men Don't Talk. The date today, if you can mention all that.
Yeah. Okay.
Who you are, a bit about yourself, and then pass over.
Yeah.
For your guest as well. And just what you was just doing is perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, that's gold. So just keep it natural. Yeah.
Should be quite easy. We've done this for quite some time.
Sit on a scaffold.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sit on a scaffold in the freezing rain and cold. You know. Are we ready to go?
We're good.
Yeah, we're good. We're ready, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. My name's Reggie. I'm 50, you know who I am anyway. I don't have to tell you, do I? Yeah, I'm 50. Yeah, we're sponsored by Loved Ones Forever. We're on the 12th of October.
Well done.
Yeah, is that good?
That's good.
Yeah, 12th of October. This is a podcast called Men Don't Talk. We've got a wide range of topics we can branch off on, but I think we'll just ad-lib as we go along. A little bit about myself. I'm 50 years of age.
50 years young.
50 years young, yeah. I was 50 this year. And, it was, I didn't think I'd get it, to tell you the truth. I had a bit of turbulence along the way. You know, I'm an addict, but I don't use today. You know, and life's treating me okay today. You know, I have to take it day by day on most days, and I have a little bit about me. I come from South East London. South East London family, big family. You know, big family, and I've got loads of family, loads of cousins, loads of sisters. You know, and it's forever growing. You know, I've got grandchildren of my own. As you know, just had another grandchild.
Congratulations.
Yes. Yeah, just had another one, number 4. You know, I've got friends of mine that haven't got no grandkids, but I mean, as I say, it will come, won't it? You know what I mean? I've got some of my friends and family that haven't got no kids. You know,
it's strange how you just fall out of contact with people that are meant to be close around you.
I think really, it's all about, for me, it's about, I reconnected 4 years ago, reconnected to life, and I was so detached from life, but throughout them 36 years I was in active addiction. I never ever talked to my other men. You know, I just couldn't talk. I had an inability, and I think as well it was probably around the process of like kind of being vulnerable if I said anything, you know. And today I'm not, you know, I get my strength in my vulnerability. You know, today I do anyway. Enough about me today. What about you?
My name's Freddie. I'm from South East London. I've lived not a strange life, but an adventurous one. It was either I was going to end up in prison or end up in dead, and I realised that the streets only look after you for so long, and I realised I had to get a job and actually start being a productive member of society. Otherwise I was only going to end up one way, so hopefully I can share a bit of that today, and where I am and what that's done for me in terms of my outlook on life. Yeah, very big family, and I think men's mental health and well-being and the discussion surrounding it, I think it's kind of shrouded in a mystery because no one talks about it. So hopefully we can get something out there that will maybe help me or anyone listening.
So where do you think that you can identify with a situation where men don't talk? Where's your experience from that?
I think men don't talk. I mean, that alone is just relatable. I think for every man. Men don't talk. It's relatable in a sense that I don't know if depression is real or not, whether that's a motivational tool to use or not. But you can use depression as an example. Men don't openly talk about being depressed. They will bottle it up and they will just leave it in a jar and put it to one side. And it's only until that jar kind of smashes or falls on the floor that we find out that someone's done something completely radical, like they've killed themselves or they
the male
gone out.
Suicide rate is higher than women.
Massively higher. And massively higher. And that's due to men in society just being under so much pressure to perform, to provide, and to be this character, almost like a superhero. It's almost built up to look like, well, I need to be a superhero of some kind, and if I don't, then I'm not a man. So and there's a big topic of what is a man, and I think to extrapolate that and put that into context is, I think, what a lot of individuals are lacking. Because I think men in general, not people, are actually terrified to actually be a man. Of the consequences that actually come back to that, and they're terrified to show any type of masculinity, because there's this word that's being put on it, and it's toxic masculinity, which is to men, it's should I be masculine or should I not? They don't know where they are, and they're terrified to put a bit of masculinity out there, which is a very, very strange place to live in. That toxic masculinity, that's very, very strange.
From my experience, it was I felt demasculated as a man when I went into the doctors and I said, look, I'm depressed. And there was a pivotal moment in one part of, because I've had depression a few times, and I've tried to commit suicide 3 times, and the second time was so vivid. It was like it was like I was kind of orchestrating like this suicide attempt, and I thought I can't kill myself, so I'm going to take these tablets, and it was over a period of time, and I felt so weak as an individual, let alone being a man. As a human being, I felt weak, and over a period of time, I remember I gathered enough tablets to kind of to do the job, as they say, and it was kind of to be a man. I felt like less of. I didn't even know what it was I was meant to be. I couldn't provide. My health was failing. I had broken bones. I was in a grip of an opioid addiction that was just kind of devastating. I remember one time, like, I'm looking out the window, and like the day passed, the night passed, the day passed, the night passed, and it was just like this endless kind of dreariness, and I never had no one to talk to. I remember my friend had a building company, and I walked past one of his sites and no one recognised me. And I knew it was them, and I felt so weak as an individual that I couldn't even turn around and go like, you know what, like, look at me, I'm in shit, And I think it was after that suicide attempt, I said to myself, I'd never ever take a prescription drug ever again. But I knew there was a part of me that still wanted to go, and I was still suffering like this impending doom. Like every time, and the thing is, even when I got help and they put me, I went to Maudsley. I went to data. They put me in Maudsley, and I thought to myself, I thought this is the pits, yeah. And I went there, but one thing I went there and I turned around and said, look, you know what, I've got problems, but I'm not an addict. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
I weren't really saying that, like, you know what, because I couldn't even tell the truth. I never had no one to talk to.
Yeah.
And all I kept on doing was breaking down. You know, I was crying, I was upset. And the thing about all that, it was like, not once did they turn around and say, like, you know, you need help. You know, I was mentally suffering, you know. I mean, there's a guy that says, I think it's Gable Matter that said that addiction is the response to human suffering. At that particular time, I was a human suffering. Not only from that, I'm battling something that's going on in my head. And I've got all these other things going on, these addictions that was kind of uncontrollable. Like I was kind of powerless over it at the time. And I remember listening, I listened to other people and like now I listen to other people and I go to a place that has got some help, you know. But the thing is, men don't talk in so many different capacities. They don't talk in the fact that with their health. You know, I'll give you an example. I had this scratchy arse. Right, I tell you, it's fucking funny. It was I scratched his arse forever. And my mate had the same scratchy arse.
Oh, scratchy arse.
Oh, this scratchy arse, right? I'm telling you. When you scratched it, it felt like it was actually like, you know, it was like it was a porn star. It gives you so much pleasure, right? Listen to this, right? And I fucking scratched his arse for years and years and years. Yeah, I really scratched his arse, right? It was, I'll be at night time, he'd wake me up at night, I'll give it a good itch and I'll think, fucking hell, like that, right? Listen to this. Yeah. Now, I got into recovery 4 years ago and like, I think, fucking hell, like, I've got to sort all this shit out, you know what I mean? I'm still scratching. You know, it's not going away. I thought it was to do with the drugs, but it wasn't. So I talked to someone in where I go, and he goes to me, Reg, you want to, you know, talk to someone. I goes, why would I talk to? Well, it was in COVID, and I got like a throat infection or something. And I was glad it wasn't COVID. And I turned around and mentioned to the doctor, I said, like, doctor, like, I've got this scratchy arse. Yeah. Right, I've got this scratchy arse. And she said, oh yeah, okay, I'll give you a cream. And I thought, yeah, that's good, you know what I mean? Give me this cream. And I got it. It was an athlete's foot cream. Yeah, and I thought, what the fuck are they giving me? And someone stuck their toe up my bottom, you know what I mean? And like, give me athlete's foot, I'm a bum. And I'm thinking, shit, all this sort of stuff. So anyway, yeah, I've turned around and I've got like that. She gave me this cream. Well, anyway, I put it on and it was like a game changer. Yeah, the first night, I've had a first night kick without scratching it. Yeah. And the funny thing is, since I've vocalised this to some other guys...
I'm guessing other people have said, do you know what? I've got a scratchy arse too.
I've got a scratchy arse too, and it's men, you know. And I talk to men, and I'll turn around and give it to another guy. And I'll turn around and say to him, like, you know what, I told him about my scratchy arse. He said, you know what, Reg? He said, I've been scratching it for years. It bleeds, and it was like a fucking baboon's arse. It was really bad. Yeah. And I'll give him it. He passes on to many other men, and it's a game changer. So the thing is, that's just an example of how men don't talk. Like, what it is, we can't turn around and say to like our wife, you know, like, it's a bit embarrassing.
I wouldn't turn around and say to my missus, do you know what? I've got a scratchy fucking arse. I just wouldn't do it.
No.
I'd have to Google it first because I know I can't.
I did. Do you know what? Do you know what? I Googled it so many times. I've taken worming tablets. I've taken ringworm. I thought, right, this one, that one. I thought I'd all them things, right? And do you know what? It tops up. They give me the cream, and it was a game changer. But the thing is, look, it just shows you that, you know what? I've had this for like 15, 20 years. I've been scratching away. Yeah, and the thing is this, and what happens is, see with the cream, you put the cream on for 7 days, it absolutely went, and I was so impressed. But it's like anything, you have to maintain it. So, you know what, I read somewhere that I had that restless leg syndrome. You get that when you come off opiates, yeah, or benzos, yeah. and your legs shake at night. And I remember I had that, and I read somewhere, well, I saw a program somewhere where this scratchy arse was to do with addiction. I thought, well, when I went into recovery, I thought that's another thing. I remember my first night, I tried to get clean, and I'm sitting there, right, and I'm writing down all the things I'm addicted to, right, and there was a list so long. And I remember when I looked at the solitaire on my phone, right, and I played 1.5 million games on it, and I thought, shit, like that. I haven't played a game since, you know, but it's the same thing, you know. If I was in a position to communicate with another man, and all this is how it goes, right? This is how it goes. If I would have gone to somebody like that kind of a friend and said, look, I've got a scratchy arse, you've got to go, let's meet down the pub. You go down the pub, you have 1 pint, yeah. Next thing you know, you're talking about something totally different. You're not talking about what's on it. If the other way around, if it was a woman that done that, women will get together. And I'm not saying that men have to do that, but at least we have to have a little bit of communication. You know, at least have one person.
I think when there's a contrast between men and women, I think that you mentioned huddle together. That's normal. It's normal for women to get into a circle and to talk about all their problems and put everything on the table. But the contrast is men don't do that.
No.
And I mentioned Google earlier on, and it's the digital age has cut back on conversations. So if a man has a problem, they can go on Google, you know, whatever it may be, and they'll won't have a conversation with someone, but they'll extract information from Google and they'll, oh, this is okay, I'm okay, and the digital age has really changed the conversations that men have, because like you say, you can type anything on Google and you can get information off Google and you can think, oh, I'm okay, when really just need a conversation, and that screen that's looking back on you is not going to help you at all. Many times I've had issues and I've just gone to my phone and
I've been there with you.
Is this normal? And stuff like that. And instead of having a conversation, that doesn't take place. And I think everything's just encapsulated, whether it's one thing or another. I think I don't know whether perhaps that's inbuilt within us to just take everything on board.
What, a lack of support network around emotional things?
Yes. And perhaps that's that's what it is to be a man in the eyes of the opposite gender. The opposite gender to be a man, the opposite gender said, well, they can deal with that shit. Yeah, they can deal with that shit. You know, and that's why men do need to talk, because it's the contrast between men and women is
because men seem to bottle up a lot of stuff, you know, like especially with grief. You know, they've either got an outlet and they let it out and they're expected to just get on with it. You know, like I mean, I personally, I've taken grief very seriously. It was very deep to me, and another thing. I mean, it's changed over 4 years, as you know. You know, it's changed over the years, but you know.
There's also a lot of just pressure from society in terms of being a man. You know, I'm 35 and I still live at home. You know, does that make me a man? Does that make me less of a man? You know, there's a lot of pressures from society to have this expectation of what a man is.
I mean, years ago there was a comedy program called, I think it was called Timothy. And it was about a man that lived home with his parents, and it was like a comedy around it. You know, so even back then they was making jokes about that kind of that situation. You know, it's ingrained. So that means that, like, society expects that a man should provide. And how can a man provide all of the stuff?
Well,
and then
not only provide for himself, but provide for others.
Yeah, emotionally as well.
Emotionally, financially, and there's a lot of other things that encompass that.
Because there's a lot of like when people say they're independent, you know, I should rather use the word solvent. You know,
Yeah.
if you're financially solvent, it means that you don't need to kind of go out for anywhere else to get your needs met. You know, because it's all about getting your needs met, isn't it? You know?
Absolutely.
You know, there's all different subjects off of that. I mean, what are your needs today as a man?
My needs are to get through that. Sorry, I've just come from the dentist. I'm struggling to talk. My need and my not exactly needs, but I think to get through the day. That's an accomplishment. To get through today and to get to tomorrow. That's an accomplishment in itself. I mean, there's been certain times where I've got up and I've just sat on the edge of my bed, just stared at the floor. I think, and thought, what today? What does today hold for me? That's instead of looking at the floor, that should be a conversation.
I mean, I've got different needs today than I had from a while ago, but I suppose in loads of ways I've got the where I go most nights. You know what I mean? I can let whatever's on my mind go out. Is that the answer? You know, is it the answer that, like, so does that mean that, like, in order to, because I feel pretty balanced, you know, but especially coming from where I come from, you know, I mean, even though, I had a loving family, caregiving family, but the thing is, things weren't right, you know, and things weren't right with me. I was misunderstood as a child. I was in a family that was grieving, you know, and the thing is, I lost all disconnect to who I was, you know. You know, when someone said, like, do you agree with that thing where, or disagree with, like, say for instance, it's important to know yourself on a deep level.
Absolutely, because no one is going to take care of you better than you.
Yeah, but even that subject alone, is that demasculate? You know, you understand what I mean? Oh yeah, I've got feelings. You know, I mean, not being funny, most days I'm in my feelings.
I'll wake up every day in my feelings.
Yeah, that's right.
That's normality for me.
Yeah, but the thing is, if you, like, sometimes if you talk to say your partner and say, I'm in my feelings,